Well, I'm looking through my list here to find your center fielder. And I do not see a spot currently, so let me go back to our main schedule that says Palmer Campbell is the gentleman playing center field. It is Cole Nichols who is in left. So Nichols in left, Campbell is in center, and Jason Jarrell is in right. Big cut there. Caddyman's up, one apiece on Joe Taylor. Nighttime about to fall here in Ephrata. Officially the sun to set right about 8:25. We've had haze and smoke. We've had that haze and smoke on a number of occasions during the course of prepping and then today's coverage. But the haze, it has lifted to some degree. Chasing one outside is Taylor, and the throw down to first to complete the out. It was a drop strike 3, but King goes down to first and gets Taylor for out number 1. Zach Berryman coming to the plate. And there you see, by a relative long shot, Joe Taylor is out number 1. Zach Berryman coming to the plate. Dakota Fingar will follow. But the haze and the smoke, it's been an issue throughout the course of our now 3 days here in Ephrata, Washington. We arrived on Thursday, really not that much, but certainly from Spokane where we made the trip in, there was some visibility, not issues, but there was certainly some smoke and haze in the air. And then on Friday, it was definite, and it had an impact. Dropped the temperatures, and did for some make it difficult breathing. There were a number of individuals here at the park prepping for the World Series, donning masks, so it was an issue. And then today, well, not quite as much. We have had that haze, that smoke on the horizon, but it's not had that big of an impact. 3-0 delivery into the strike zone. It is 3-1 on Zach Berryman. Berryman thinking it was outside of the strike zone, but Blue says no. And speaking of Blue, here is your crew for this one. Brian Striggy behind the plate, Jeremy Cranston at first, and Ricky Bryan is at third. There's the walk to Berryman. Base runner on over at first, Dakota Fingar coming to the plate. Duncan Favor moves to the on-deck circle. Good crowd on hand. In between the game that concluded about an hour and a half ago between Moses Lake and Mid-County, Texas, you had a pretty good crowd here. And most of those have stayed to watch the nightcap. And there you see behind home plate a lot of the gentlemen who played for the Blue Lick Kentucky squad, enjoying the game from very close to the diamond. Count even one apiece on Dakota Fingar. During the course of the game, got a lot of stuff planned for you, by the way. We're going to get you active in the contest, take text shout outs, take new Twitter followers, get you to like us on Facebook. 2-1 the count on Fingar. Fighting Squirrel, I like that. I like a unique mascot name. Remember the Fighting Squirrel from a year ago? Can't even do 2. And I think 1 year ago we were talking about other unique mascot names, like the Fighting Okra of Delta State, or the Artichokes from Scottsdale Community College. 2-2 pitch. Sent right back up the middle, scooped up by McDaniel, goes to second for 1 throw, not in time for 2. Got the 1 and the 6, could not get the 3. Snead State in Alabama's got the Parsons. There's a high school in the panhandle of Florida called the Hobos. So Fighting Squirrels to me is one of those unique names. In AA baseball, how about the Montgomery Biscuits? I think Lansing, Michigan has the Lugnuts. 0-1 on Favor. And Charleston, Missouri's got the Fighting Squirrels. Squirrels are crafty critters. They are smart. Uh-oh, caught in a run down is Fingar. Throw over to first by McDaniel at the right time. And Fingar is going to run to and fro and finally say, you know what, I've run out of gas. Let's see if I can dive into first. And he cannot. Tagged out by Ball. Well, it was a matter of the right time for McDaniel and the wrong timing for Faber. And there's the tag out that puts an end to the inning. And it, in essence, turns it into a 3-up, 3-down top part of the inning. We go to the bottom. And at the top of the order for Charleston here on JockJive.com.
Up with today's fast-paced world can be difficult. Accelerate your life with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Surf, stream, and game like never before. Give us a call at 509-754-2600 and find out more at iFiber.tv.
Cheryl Konos Farmers Insurance is your local one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, and farm and ranch, Cheryl and Farmers are here for you. You never know when the unexpected will happen, so be ready for anything. She'll work for you to put together a package that fits your needs no matter how big or small. She's right here in Ephrata, so you can talk to her at any time. Please stop by for a free quote at 858 Basin Street Southwest or call 509-754-2550. Good luck to all the players and teams.
Keeping up with today's fast-paced world can be difficult. Accelerate your life with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Surf, stream, and game like never before. Give us a call at 509-754-2600 and find out more at...
Bottom of the first, corner's top part of the inning. Taylor, Berryman, and Fingar all go down. Taylor a strikeout victim. Berryman walks but goes down on the 1-6 putout. Fingar racked into, and then Fingar runs into an out. Got caught, in essence, trying to steal, picked off, and then tagged out. We go to the bottom of the inning, top of the order for the Fighting Squirrel of Charleston. Cole Nichols, the left fielder, will start things off. Second baseman Ty Householder batting in the 2 spot. The EH, Braden Cox batting third. In cleanup, Wyatt Pratt, the third baseman. Pitcher Trey McDaniel in the 5-hole. Center fielder Palmer Campbell bats sixth. Shortstop Winston Welter in that 7-hole. Jason Gerald, the right fielder, batting 8th. First baseman Dylan Paul in the 9 spot, and Garrison Keene starting behind the plate defensively will bat in the 10-hole for Charleston. Into the strike zone with the opening pitch to Nichols. Abel Gomez on the hill for Ephrata. Behind the plate, Tristan Garland. The first baseman is Nick Lopez. Gage Gibson at second. Joe Taylor's at short, Zach Berryman at third. Outfield has Jolie Mihelich. In left field, the center fielder is Dakota Fingar. Duncan Faber is in right. Couple of quick strikes on Nicole. Here is the 0-2 offering. Low and away, and your count goes 1-2. Well, I mentioned that we want you to be a part of the broadcast. Coming up in the third, we'll take shout-outs. We'll talk more about that in the second. Get you prepped for what we're looking for. Quick reminder, too, would love to have you as a friend on Facebook. We've got a goal of 10,000 likes on Facebook. And you know, the plan originally was to try to get there by the end of the summer. The end of the summer for us is August 12th. That's the last youth sports game that we do, and then we get into football, volleyball, and soccer come about the 23rd of August. Here's the 2-2 to Nichols. Out of the strike zone again, and Nichols fighting back, was down on the count, 0-2. Now it's run full. But wanting to get to 10,000 by the 12th, I'm thinking 10,000 tonight. 178 more likes and we're there. It is wrapped foul and the count will remain full. So I'm thinking tonight's as good a night as any to hit the 10 grand. And then shoot, we can go for 11 by the 12th of August. So 178 likes to go. Open up a browser. That one is a little bit high, and the walk is issued to Nichols. So the Midwest Plains champion with a base runner aboard. Boy, that was close. As a matter of fact, if Nichols doesn't dip the hands down, it's popping the wrist. And that's in an area, too, where, you know, there's just not much between the fingers of the bat except a little skin and a bone. One is close to damage as it's bunted foul by Householder. 0-1 on the two-hitter. Braden Cox, the EH, moves to the on-deck circle. There's Nichols with his trot back to first. But back to Facebook. 10,000, that's the goal tonight. Go to Facebook, open up the browser, get there, put but Jock Jive Sports in the search engine. Jock Jive Sports. Like us, takes about 30 seconds. I'm guessing a half minute of your time, and you've liked us. You're able to get back safely, Nichols, and then get back to the game. And we'll thank you ahead of time. And I did indeed take a quick peek, as that one's outside of the strike zone, of the numbers in the opening 3 games. And if this game is similar, then it shouldn't take long to get there. Ty Householder, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nichols with his lead over at first. The right-hander Gomez will throw over. The one thing that we have noticed where a Ephrata baseball team is concerned, that the longest games of the World Series typically involve Ephrata. They are deliberate with their play. The pitcher, when base runners are on, as you see, Abel Gomez will take a lot of time between tosses. He'll make some throws over to the base. It will frustrate the hitter, and just as you see, Ty Householder, one at a time out, to step out of the box and regroup. Runner goes, throw goes two, not in time. Toss goes into center field. Nichols with a stolen base in scoring position at second. There's a chase by Householder to protect the runner. And safely into scoring position goes Nichols. In a cloud of dust and rips up the bag, and that's why we've got a delay. Well, if you're going to play the game of baseball, you got to have all 4 bases, not just 3 of the 4, and second's been ripped up. And you'll see here at the end of the Nichols slide, pulls up the bag. So now one of the maintenance crew will come out and try to restore the bag. That, I guess, is kind of an unorthodox way to steal second. Not supposed to pick it up and take off with it. Maintenance crews, by the way, what a great job they have done. And how about that? You got one of the players out there helping. And that's Washington for you, by the way. These people up here in the Northwest have, at least where we're concerned, they do everything possible to make things easy. And in that particular case, you've got Gage Gibson, the second baseman. I mean, hey, he's partial to the bag, helping out to make sure it's given its proper tender love and care, and it's back where it needs to be. As Nichols will drift off the bag towards third, and Ty Householder will step back into the batter's box with a 1-2 count. Lights on here in Johnson O'Brien. Throw to second. Retrieving is Joe Taylor. But while I've got the opportunity, might as well extend a big hats off to the maintenance crew and all those who are making this World Series happen. They have done, per the norm, an outstanding job. Outside, count evens at 2. And while talking about outstanding jobs, got to recognize our producer, James Crenshaw. He's in the truck, responsible for all the different angles you see, the graphics, the replays, and more. And working with and keeping them straight, our camera ops, provided by iFiber. We say thank you very much to iFiber. Talk about some people that keep this area informed as to what's going on. I understand there was a fairly serious vehicle accident in the area in between the 2 games, and iFiber was there. Then you had the opening ceremonies, and you had them here for that. Count even 2 apiece. I understand the mishap was a 5-vehicle mishap. just a little bit low, and the count runs full on Householder. So our thoughts and prayers with all involved, and certainly hope it is not as serious as it would appear. Here is the payoff pitch to Householder. On the outside part of the plate, struck him out looking. Householder not particularly pleased with the call. Nichols will stay put at second. And might have nibbled on the edges, and Householder might be as frustrated with himself for letting it go by as the fact that it did and in the zone. Braden Cox, one away, one aboard, in scoring position. Outside of the strike zone, and did I mention that typically games that involve Ephrata get kind of lengthy? This one already is a little bit on the long side. As a matter of fact, the opening 3 games went relatively quick. 2:10 on the first game, an hour 39 on game number 2. Game that wrapped up prior to this one went about 2 hours. But we are 1 out into the bottom of the first, and about 17 minutes in. On the outside part of the plate, absolutely no breeze. I am looking at the American flag just a little right of center, and it is barely budging. I mean, just occasionally a little flutter, not enough to even pick the flag off of the mast. Babe Ruth World Series, where you can see and hear it all over the place. I know Ephrata has a radio station with the coverage. Sam Boroff is helping with that coverage. I believe Charleston, Missouri's got a radio crew here. Hit over towards right field. That will be a Braden Cox base hit. Will it bring in Nichols? It will indeed. He will come in and score, and Charleston will take the opening lead in this one. So Braden Cox with an RBI single gives Charleston, Missouri the 1-0 advantage. Base runner at first with Wyatt Pratt coming to the plate. Trey McDaniel moving to the on-deck circle. I mentioned the radio stations here. Of course, you can catch our coverage in 3 different spots on the web. Our website, jockjive.com. The Ephrata World Series 2017.com website. And on Facebook, Babe Ruth website. I believe it is Babe Ruth Inc. on Facebook, but I'm sure if you put Babe Ruth in the search engine, you'll find it. Off to second goes Cox, now in scoring position. You want the highlights, you want the game's best plays all condensed into these 5, 7, 10-second clips. Well, that's coming your way overnight. When you get up tomorrow morning, you're going to be able to watch all the big plays. And there have been some. I mean, this hasn't been 3 games prior that have just been loaded with spectacular plays, but there's already been some great catches in center field. Here's the 0-2 offering. Pratt awaits. It's into the strike zone. Another K as Gomez is now fan 2. 2 gone for Trey McDaniel. Johnson O'Brien Stadium here in Ephrata, home of the Tigers, is a park that, as I've mentioned previously, not particularly large, but has not given up the long ball yet. 321 down the lines, 346 to the gap in right, 336 is to the gap in left, dead away center field 366. And it's not a big 20-foot wall in center field, so you hit at those distances plus about 5 and you've cleared it. But thus far, everything's been kept inside the diamond, hit sharply towards second. Fielded at second by Gibson, goes to first, gets McDaniel on the 4-3 putout. One base runner left on, but one comes in and scores. And it's the Fighting Squirrel who grabbed the first nut, leading it by a run. We go to the second. Faber, Lopez, and Garland all due up for a friend.
On the Train test range, you learn what makes our heating and cooling systems so reliable. If there's a breaking point, we'll find it. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. Jock Jive Sports literally spanning the country. And this weekend, crews in Alabama covering a World Series in Oxford, and here in Ephrata, Washington, cover the World Series for Babe Ruth. 24/7, if you are a sports junkie, then you'll want Jock Jive. Whether it's live or archived, you can find it. I'm telling you, if you want to watch something youth sports oriented, something junior college oriented, something college oriented, whether it is football, volleyball, basketball, soccer, baseball, softball, right here, jockjive.com. Thanks so much for tuning in on a Saturday night here in the Northwest. Duncan Faber beginning the top of the second for Ephrata in a 1-0 contest. Nick Lopez, Tristan Garland, 2 up in the inning, 2. No one offering to Faber. Swing and a miss. McDaniel out in front of Faber here to begin the second. You see the scoreboard at the bottom of your screen. In the third inning, where you see 2017 Babe Ruth 16-18 World Series, you're going to see a number. And that number will be where you can shout out, where you in another part of the country can be like those people sitting behind the backstop, cheering on a team or rooting on a team member. I'll go ahead and tell you the number is going to be 334-488-1385. But if you're like me, you need the visual to help the audio. 334-488-1385. We'll get the number posted in the third. In the third as well as the fourth, we'll take your shout-outs. So get ready. 2-2 offering to Faber. And Faber win. There is the second K of the contest for Trey McDaniel. 1 out for Nick Lopez. Well, we are from the deep south, and it doesn't get necessarily bright real early, and it doesn't stay bright real late. A little bit of an adjustment in that in the early morning hours, sun's already shining, and here we are about 8:30 at night, and you can still see outside here probably until about 9 or 9:15. That'll be the case before it gets absolutely dark. Johnson O'Brien Stadium, by the way, we've got a picture on Facebook of a nighttime look from above. Great shot of the park here in which the World Series is being played. 1 and 2 on Lopez. And speaking of great pictures, you got a watch party going on. A lot of folks gathered around watching the game coverage. Share a photo with us, just like the folks in Nederland, Texas did in the game prior. Share it to Jock Jive Sports on Facebook, at Jock Jive on Twitter. Here is the 1-2 offering to Nick Lopez. Misses the zone, and the count will even up at 2. Tomorrow, your baseball starts at 11 a.m. Same thing, 11, 2, 5, and 8 o'clock games. In the 11 o'clock matchup, Southwest champion, Pacific Northwest champion. 2 o'clock, Cape Cod is back on the diamond to take on Middle Atlantic. Pacific Southwest and the Washington State North champions at 5 o'clock. 8 o'clock, Ephrata again in that 8 o'clock matchup, taking on Southeast tomorrow at 8 p.m. And a few missed scores from earlier. Blue Lick over Tucson 12-4. Cape Cod over Story County 6-1. Mid-County, Texas 4-2, defeating Moses Lake. Drop strike 3. There's the out. And there are 3 Ks now for Trey McDaniel. 2 gone here in the second. McDaniel striking out Taylor in the first. He got Faber and Lopez in the second. And Tristan Garland coming to the plate. Joey Mihelich moving to the on-deck circle. Outside to open up the at-bat for Tristan Garland. A lot of Major League Baseball. Number of games in progress, and even more have already wrapped up. Count evens 1 apiece. Nobody on, 2 gone here in the top part of inning number 2. Now 1 and 2. Daniel ahead on the count. Campbell, Welter, and Gerald. That is the 6, 7, and 8 spots that will come to the plate when you get to the bottom part of the second. Games in progress. Diamondbacks with a 4-1 lead over the Giants. That's in the bottom of the 7th. Struck out as Garland's side, retired in order. All compliments of the fan that Trey McDaniel plugged in and got Faber, Lopez, and Garland. We'll get to the rest of the Major League scores when we get into the bottom of the second. Campbell, Welter, and Gerald all coming up for Charleston.
Sure, Trustology is about sharing our financial expertise and helping our clients succeed. But it's also about helping local families enjoy a more festive holiday season, making sure parents have the supplies they need, and giving local charities everything they can grab in 90 seconds. It's employees who have a passion for serving their neighbors and the communities they live in. When you see Washington Trust's Crew in Blue doing their thing, that's Trustology in action. See more at Trustology.
Bottom of the second, Palmer Campbell starting things off for Charleston. Winston, Welter, Jason Gerald, 2 up in the inning 2. That's a good look at the ballpark here at Johnson O'Brien from the third base side. Doesn't really give you quite the feel of how much haze and smoke we've had, but a little bit as you look above the hills and the tree line. Campbell starting things off, the center fielder. Out of the strike zone with the opening Gomez pitch. More scores from the majors. A's on top of the Angels. Bottom of the 6th, 5-zip. Number of finals in. Cubs beat the Nationals 7-4. Dodgers over the Mets by the same score. Brewers blank the Rays 3-zip. Orioles overcome the Tigers 5-2. Padres pop the Pirates by the same score, 5-2. Red Sox rip the White Sox 4-1. Posited into left field, and there is a leadoff Palmer Campbell single for Charleston. Yankees beating the Indians 2-1. Rangers rout the Twins 4-1. Braves bust the Marlins 7-2. Cards with a 4-1 victory over the Reds. Blue Jays nip the Astros 4-3. Mariners Royals game postponed, and the Rockies have beaten the Phillies 8-5. Good look inside the nest where all the squirrels are. I'm surprised that I have not registered on the cheeseometer. Our producer typically notifies me when I have hit the cheesy mark, and I feel like I've been on the edge. Shortstop Welter batting, Campbell the base runner at first. Bottom part of the second, Jason Sherrill moving to the on-deck circle. Pool play today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Bracket play on Thursday. If you've been one of the teams to finish tops in the American or National Division, then you get Thursday off and head directly into the semis. If you finish 2 or 3, you got to play on Thursday to get into the semis. If you finish 4 or 5, well, obviously you've had a great year in getting here, but you just won't get to play on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Another throw over to first, and Campbell back safely. Let me mention, too, if I haven't already, a big thank you to iFiber for the camera ops. Did it last year, doing it again this year. Runner takes off on the pitch. Throw is there, and if he hangs on, he's got him. He hung on and he got him. Garland tossing down to Gibson. And sliding into the tag was Campbell. You know, it looked like on that replay the ball might have kind of bobbled a little bit. Let's see if we can tell from this angle. Well, if it did, well, it did. Strikeout of Welter. And Campbell caught stealing, so they're 2 gone. Well, I don't know from an officiating standpoint how long you've got to hang on to a baseball to register the out, as that Jason Gerald shot winds up in right field. Here again is that play with Campbell heading towards second, and the throw from Garland to Gibson. Gibson gets it, lays the tag on him, and then right there with a spin, the ball comes out. So apparently the officials indicating that on the transfer of the ball, the tag had already been applied. So it is maybe similar to if you're trying to get it out at second and turn the double play and the ball pops out of the hand while making the throw. Often they will go ahead and count the out, typically so, because it was pulling it out of the mitt, which actually resulted in the ball coming loose. Just speculation. Gerald able to get back over safely, throw a little low and retrieving his Lopez. Dylan Paul, 0-1 offering becomes a 1-1 count. 2 gone, base runner at first. Garrison Keene to the on-deck circle. Top of the third for the Columbia Basin River Dogs. Will feature the 7, 8, and 9 spots. And of course, in the third, by the way, third and fourth innings, we get to your shout-outs. And I've already given you a number. That number will be posted on the scoreboard in the third. Let me give you the, not mandatory, but the requests. Send a shout out to a team member or team. Let us know where you are watching from. And if you can get unique these days, let us know what unique spot you're watching the game coverage. Would recognize those at work, but at 8:30 here in the Pacific time zone, 9:30 Mountain, 10:30 Central, and 11:30 Eastern. Don't think we got that many folks working this late at night. Got some, though. Outside with a pitch, the runner will take off. Gerald going down to second. He's there safely. And a stolen base by Gerald has got a base runner in scoring position, as Dylan Ball now has an RBI opportunity with the count full. Garrison Keene on deck. Abel Gomez working the bottom part of the second. Rolled over towards third. Here's the payoff. Swing and a miss. Out goes Ball. Left aboard is Gerald. 4 go to the plate, 1 left on, 3 go down, 1 base hit, 1 stolen base in the bottom of the second. We go to the third. It is still a 1-0 contest, and that 1 run belongs to the Squirrels. We go to the third on JockJive.com.
Come along now, join the fun in beautiful Grant County, Washington. Our lakes just can't be beat, our friends you'll love to meet in beautiful Grant County, Washington.
Call 800-992-6234 or tourgrantcounty.com. Brought to you by the Grant County Tourism Commission.
Right here in the Columbia Basin, located in Moses Lake, we've got a locally owned, operated car rental agency with a great selection of late model clean cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. They do direct billing to insurance companies when that unexpected accident happens and your car is laid up for that little moment. They're open 6 days a week with a new building and new location. 15 years of service to the Columbia Basin. Advance Rent-A-Car. Call them today, 765-3902.
Top of the third, Joey Mihelich starting things off. Arsenio Martinez and Gage Gibson due up in the inning too. We are in the third, top part of the inning. 1-0 advantage. It belongs to the Missouri team. And there is your line score. 2 eggs for Fredo, 1-3-0 for Charleston. Well, it's time to get into the shout-outs. I mentioned earlier what we're looking for, as it is bunted foul back towards the screen. A shout out and where you're watching from primarily. 334-488-1385. 334-488-1385. We take shout outs in innings 3 and 4. That's the segment that we've allotted for you to extend your cheers. 0-2 on Mihelich. 39 minutes into the contest, top of the third. It will go 7 unless somebody's got a really big lead after 4. Doesn't look like we're going to worry about mercy rules as Mihelich becomes the 4th strikeout victim in a row for Trey McDaniel. 5 overall. And there's 1 out here in the third for Arsenio Martinez. There you go, number above the scoreboard, 334-488-1385 to send shout-outs. Well, here's something we could add extra to the shout-outs. If you are watching on Facebook, on the Babe Ruth Facebook page, tack that on too. Count even 1 apiece. Again, all requests, not mandatory, just simply that request of info that just stick in on the shout out. 334-488-1385. Understand that we are being fed into the local market by iFiber, so good to have you, Freda. Northland Cable also responsible for getting the game out to people up here in the Pacific Northwest, specifically around Ephrata. So thank you both. And I guess too, if you want to include that on the shout out, if you're watching on iFiber or Northland Cable. You know, we like to assign you various tasks. Keeps you young. Keeps the mind alert. Martinez giving a walk. Base runner on. One away. Gage Gibson coming to the plate. Well, we've been here 3 days and enjoyed the 3 days, but enjoying today more than the prep days. Getting some good baseball in. Started with a hearty breakfast, by the way, at a spot we accidentally ran upon. And I think we're probably going to accidentally stumble upon the Country Deli again tomorrow. Over to first and back in safely goes Martinez. Well, it's time to get the shout-outs in. The first one says shout out to Ethan. He's on the River Dog squad. So Ethan, there's your shout out. 334-488-1385. Here's the 0-2 offering to Gage Gibson. Righty versus righty, the right-handed Gibson, the right-handed McDaniel. And the walk of Martinez, snapping a string of 4 straight, struck out by McDaniel. That is literally behind the scenes in the Ephrata dugout. Diving back safely to first is Martinez. Shout out to Logan Damesworth and Garrison Keene, playing for the Missouri Fighting Squirrels, all the way from my couch in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. And that's a good place to be watching the game. And we are Cape Girardeau fans. As a matter of fact, that's typically a stopping point for trips out west. Safely back to first, Martinez. Shout out to the Fighting Squirrels from Sykeston SWAT Baseball. Go nuts. Get over in the direction of right field, second baseman Ty Householder. That is an outstanding play by Householder. We mentioned we're posting clips late tonight, early tomorrow from the day's big plays. This from your knees would count as one, and it's there definitely. Householder with a nice defensive play. Martinez will go to second on the play, but there's 2 gone for Abel Gomez. Shout out to Trey McDaniel from Sierra Bennett and Trinity McDaniel from Missouri. Hashtag Go Squirrels. Gomez taking a poke at it. Count evens 1 apiece. Joe Taylor moves to the on-deck circle. Into the strike zone, 1 and 2. Shout out to Blake Simmons. We missed you. Shout out from Poplar Bluff, Missouri. Go nuts. Hi, this is Daniel Lance watching from Scott City, Missouri. Let's go Squirrels and shortstop Winston Welter. And there goes Gomez, a strikeout victim. That is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th one of the game for Trey McDaniel. 4 go up, 3 go down, 1 left on in the 3rd. Bottom of the order coming up at the bottom of the 3rd for the Fighting Squirrels.
Your eyes are a window to your health. And now introducing the latest in technology for diagnosing eye disease. Ephrata Eye Care has been serving the Columbia Basin for 20 years. With a friendly professional staff, they'll help you select eyewear that is right for you. Big and wide is the way to describe the selection of leading brands of eyewear. No more dilation with the new OptoMap ultra-wide field imaging. Ephrata Eye Care. Call today for your next appointment, 754-2020. Where does everyone go after the game? Where does everybody go before the game? Where does everybody go to watch the game? 12 Hawks, right in the middle of downtown Ephrata. Big screens everywhere, great food, great selection of your favorite spirits. It's where the friends meet. I'm not going to begin to describe all the items on the menu. You'll have to stop by and see for yourself. 12 Hawks, 140 West Division in downtown Ephrata.
Bottom of the order, bottom of the third. Garrison Keene starting things off for the Fighting Squirrel. Cole Nichols, Ty Householder due up in the inning too. Watching great nephew Trey McDaniel from Wapapello, Missouri, Aunt Ruthie. Can't say that I've ever heard of Wapapello, but good to have Aunt Ruthie watching the coverage. Bunted by Keene, and the putout goes 1-3. Garrison Keene laying down the bunt, able to get to it quickly as Gomez. And we go back to the top of the order. Cole Nichols coming to the plate. Watching from Jackson, Missouri, Palmer Campbell's aunt and nephew. Shout out to Frazier's girlfriend. I love you. Well, and that's not Frazier, the old television show, is it? I don't even know who Frazier's girlfriend was. Well, I guess originally, if you go back to the Cheers days, it was, gosh, I don't watch much TV. Can't remember the woman's name that was his girlfriend on Cheers. And then, of course, Frazier broke from Cheers and had his own sitcom for years. And I'm talking stuff that Fighting Squirrels and the River Dogs are too young to remember. Even James, our 31-year-old in the van, does not remember the Frazier and Cheers days on television. Cole Nichols with a walk, and the game's only run happened in the first. He was driven in on Braden Cox's single. Here's the 1-2 offering. Fouled out of play. It stays 1 ball and a couple of strikes. Keep up the good work. Fighting Squirrels. Go Winston Welter. Casey from Scott City, Missouri. Go Nuts from Scott City. 1-2 pitch to Nichols. Shout out to Matt Jackson from Ethan Browning. Count even 2 each. Ty Householder, who struck out in the first, is on deck awaiting his opportunity. The 4th for Ephrata. We'll bring the top of the order back to the plate. Joe Taylor, Zach Berryman, Dakota Fingar. Four games again tomorrow. Same thing the first 3 days of next week. Your American Division, the New England champ, the Southeast champ, Midwest Plains, Middle Atlantic, and Ephrata. There's a strikeout of Nichols, 2 away. Off the inside part of the plate. Ty Householder was another Abel Gomez strikeout victim. Both pitchers are striking out hitters. Gomez has got a total of 5 Ks now. Shout out to Minner. I hope that is correctly pronounced. And the Fighting Squirrels. Go Nuts for the Marshall family in Charleston, Missouri. 1-1 on Householder. Struck out looking in the first. Braden Cox is on deck. Another low-scoring games. That has been the norm today, with the exception of the opening game, in which a total of 16 runs were scored. Otherwise, less than double digits, the two teams combined. Here is the 2-1 offering. Householder awaits. Shout out to the Squirrels from Wyatt, Missouri. Go Nuts. Good luck to Coach Mike Miner and Coach Randy Boroff. Shout out to Trey McDaniel from Grandma Portia and Grandaunt Vicky. We're going nuts, Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Had a ground out of Keene, had a strikeout of Nichols, get a walk to Householder, and a base runner on for Braden Cox. And the gentleman who has knocked in the game's only run coming to the plate with the base runner at first. Braden Cox with that RBI single back in the first. Dustin Stone, Scott City, Missouri, watching the Squirrels trying to get a nut. Hashtag go nuts. Watching from Parker, Colorado. I think the first time we've heard from Colorado. Shout out to the Fighting Squirrels. Go nuts from the ramp, please. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Driven towards the gap. That will be dropped. Getting underneath it was Duncan Favor. Could not hang on. Householder coming in to score. And again, Braden Cox has driven in a Fighting Squirrel. That one had some carry on it, and for a moment thought it might leave the park. It dropped about 10 feet shy of the wall, but it drives in Householder, and the Fighting Squirrel now with a 2-zip lead. And both Charleston, Missouri runs now driven in by the 3-hitter Braden Cox, who is perfect, 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. And yeah, there's a reason to have a big smile on your face, as Braden Cox has just driven in the second Charleston, Missouri run. Wyatt Pratt, who struck out looking, comes to the plate. Shout out to number 9, Blake Simmons. Go nuts, miss you, from Aunt Lee in Charleston, Missouri. Go Cole from the Burchards and Kate. Shout out to Blake Simmons watching from Charleston, Missouri. As it is found out of play, have a great time and go nuts from Mom. Shout out to Tyler and his no girls. Okay. You write them, I read them. Usually. I'm not admittedly hip on all the urban language as it is wrapped over towards short, fielded by Taylor, goes over to first, and he might sneak one by me sometimes, but I'll try to keep them family oriented as we head to the 4th. Top part of the order coming to the plate. Fighting Squirrels have added another run. Householder coming in, and Braden Cox has done it again. Driven in 1. It's a 2-zip Fighting Squirrels lead as we head to the 4th.
Ephrata is strategically located in the center of Washington State. The Port of Ephrata can meet your intermodal transportation and supply chain needs via road, rail, or air. Our most recently available property are 2 buildings that combine for 100,000 square feet of high bay heavy manufacturing space with multiple bridge cranes installed. When the workday is over, take advantage of the plentiful recreation opportunities in the area. Bring your business back to center in Ephrata, a center for commerce, a center for opportunity, and a centered life.
For more than 50 years, Tomer Construction has been helping build the Pacific Northwest. We've led successful projects throughout the area involving portable rock crushing, road construction, land clearing, land leveling, bridge construction, and structural concrete. We also offer fill material, sand, and gravel for your everyday landscape needs. For a free quote, call today, 509-787-3312. Tomer Construction, we're ready to serve.
Top of the 4th, Joe Taylor coming to the plate. Well, you see all of the stuff that goes on in the dugout. You know, got to keep it relaxed. And a little tomfoolery will do just that. 2-4-0, the line score for Missouri, and goose eggs for Ephrata. Jack Becker from Greenville giving a shout out to the GOAT, Trey McDaniel. Go Call from the Burchard family, and Kate from Puxico, Missouri. Hashtag go nuts. If I mispronounce, forgive me. Shout out to Cole, Bobby, and Austin, and all the Squirrels from Coach Simfer in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Go nuts. Over into foul territory and reaching near the warning track to make the catch is first baseman Dylan Ball. Another one of those nice plays that get you on Facebook and Twitter. And there you have it. Multiple looks at the catch by Ball. One out for Zach Berryman. Berryman with a walk in the first. Dakota Fingar. He moves to the on-deck circle. Lisa and Tommy Woods cheering from Scott City, Missouri. Go Squirrels, and Winston Welter, go Nuts. Couple of strikes on Berryman. Here's the 0-2 offering. Berryman awaits. Oh, that got him right about the wrist. No reaction, though. Pain-wise, all the reaction was in that trip down to first. Just the third base runner of the game for Ephrata. And they've all been compliments of Trey McDaniel. A couple of walks and a hit batsman. Dakota Fingar with Berryman at first. Duncan Favor to the on-deck circle, bottom of the fourth. Trey McDaniel, Palmer Campbell, Winston Welter coming to the plate. Shout out to Chase from his dad. We're going nuts. See what a unique mascot name will do for you. I mean, you got just all kinds of stuff you can work with. Nothing in one on Fingar. Fingar wrapped into the 1-6 in the first. He is 0 for 1. There's a good look at Berryman. Got popped by the pitch. He's over at first. Trey McDaniel, the right-hander, with a glance over the shoulder to the base runner. And the pitch fouled off by Fingar. It's 0-2. Go Squirrels from Charleston, Missouri. Garrison is very happy that part of the requirement is to wear face gear. Wow, that one just smacked him. Even with the headgear on, that didn't feel particularly good. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Fingar. As a matter of fact, we've seen a couple of games this year where hitters have been popped about the helmet. Fingar strikes out, and as a matter of fact, in one case, it shoved the helmet into the cheek area of the hitter and sliced him open. So, hey, despite the fact you got gear on to protect, in this particular case, a catcher, you can still have its negative effects. 2 gone for Duncan Favor. And the K's continuing to mount up for Trey McDaniel. Struck out 1 in the first, retired the side all via the fan in the second, struck out 2 in the third, and struck out 1 thus far in the fourth. Duncan Favor, one of those previous strikeout victims. Runner takes off, and the runner is in with a stolen base. Throw winds up in center field, so Berryman now at second. Second inning in a row that Ephrata's had a base runner in scoring position. Haven't had anybody third yet, though. Was doing a Youth Sports World Series, speaking of strikeouts, in Mariana 2 or 3 weeks back, and in I believe it was 4 innings of work, the pitcher had 13 strikeouts. Had a drop strike 3 that allowed him to get another strikeout. I mean, he was setting people down left and right. Trey McDaniel, though, building up the K's, too. Out of the strike zone, 3-1. Bragg on the K's, and here comes a walk. Fighting Squirrel, hoping not. River Dogs will take another base runner. Nick Lopez on deck. On the outside part of the plate, count runs full. And Duncan Faber, who was ready to begin the journey to first, will have to end the journey and come back. This may be one of the shortest shout-outs, but thank you. It simply says hi. Payoff pitch to Faber. Popped up behind second. That is where Welter will get to make the catch and put him in to the top of the fourth. Another base runner on, but another base runner stranded. We are 3.5 in. Squirrels. They've got a 2-zip lead. McDaniel, Campbell, and Welter all coming up in the bottom of the fourth.
Frustrated. She's having trouble with her defensive player. Look at this sweet pass behind the back for 2 on the assist.
And that one is hit on a rope to center field. Watch that one. And it is, oh, what a great diving catch by the center field.
And in that game, it was basically a running back by committee. I mean, you had a lot of guys carrying the football. Is that the protocol for the upcoming season for the backfield of Jackson State?
It's a really nice pitch to get the ground ball double play. Second one.
6-5 is your final. East Georgia advances to the championship game.
Bottom of the fourth, Trey McDaniel starting things off, and the gentleman that you see that just crossed the path of your look from center field, the gentleman who do it midway through the fourth every game, and that's drag the field via human power, just to make sure that you iron out all the rough spots for the remainder of the contest. Goose eggs for Ephrata, 2-4-0, your line score for Charleston, Missouri. More shout-outs. This one to Trey McDaniel from Heather's Fish House in Greenville, Missouri. Shout-out to Winston Welter from Natalie and Ellie from Scott City. Go Nuts. Go Bobby Wright from Bell City, Missouri. Nicole loves you. You take your shout-outs through the bottom part of the inning, so squeeze them in before we wrap things up as far as your shout-outs go. Got more assignments, though. More tasks, if you would like. A little bit later on in the game, shout out to number 9, Blake Simmons. Go Nuts. Aunt Lee from Charleston, Missouri. Good look at Abel Gomez, ready to face Trey McDaniel. Pitcher versus pitcher. One pitch lifted towards center field, and there the catch will be made by Dakota Fingard. Didn't have to move a whole lot. And there's one out in the fourth. Palmer Campbell singled in the second. Got caught trying to steal second. Lily McAllister cheering from Scott City, Missouri. Go Fighting Squirrels. And Winston Welter. Speaking of Winston, he is on deck. Outside with a pitch to Campbell. Well, when we wrap up baseball coverage, doesn't end. Starting volleyball, soccer, and football. Football, Georgia Military College, Southwestern Athletic Conference, Great American Rivalries. Soccer, you've got some Gulf South Conference, Southwestern Athletic Conference. Maybe a little GCAA mixed in. Low with the pitch, 2-1 now on Campbell. Volleyball, SWAC, ACCC. And it's all coming up starting the end of the month. 2-1 toss to Campbell. Fouled out of play. Count evens up at 2. So in essence, 24/7 got some sports available to you. Alabama Raw Dogs wish all the teams best of luck. Thank you very much to the Raw Dogs who have been here often. Won it a year ago. Knocked off by Mid-County, Texas this year, and that's why they're not back. Campbell strikes out. We were here now 3 years ago, and the Raw Dogs won it then. Hey, if you get to the regionals, it's been a successful season. You get to the World Series, and it's been an awesome year. Win it all, it's an amazing season. Fouled out of play by Welter, actually tipped back foul. Shout out to Garrison Keene and Palmer Campbell from Daniel at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado, saying go nuts. Shout out to Austin, Bobby, and Cole from Todd, Amanda, and their baseball brother Jesse Smith, who is in Army basic training. Hoo-yah, go nuts. Shout out to Trey McDaniel from Elsinore, Missouri, saying go nuts. Shout out to J-Mo, go nuts. Missing the strike zone. It's 1-2 now on Welter. Welter a strikeout victim in the second. Go nuts from the Barn Hills in Brandon, Mississippi. Outside of the strike zone again, and the count evens up at 2. Shout out to Garrison Keene, New Madrid, Missouri. Uncle JoJo loves you. Go nuts. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 gone. It is a 2-0 advantage. I would say deuces wild here in the bottom of the first. I'll make that the 4th. Welter holding up. Count runs full. Bottom of the 4th is when we put it into your shout-outs, who are about an out away. You want to squeeze them in, you got the number there atop the scoreboard. Here is the 3-2 offering. Into the strike zone. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 4th. McDaniel, Campbell, and Welter all go down. Let's head to the 5th. Lopez, Garland, and Mihelic coming up on JockJive.com.
Since 1969, DK's Drive-In has been Ephrata's favorite spot for burgers, fries, sweet treats, and everything else in between. We are proud to continue the DK's tradition of serving our community with delicious food made to order. Come on in or swing through the drive-thru and see why DK's has been a staple of Ephrata for generations. DK's Drive-In at 805 Basin Street Northwest in Ephrata.
Lakeview Golf and Country Club. They're looking for new members, and now's the time to join. There's no initiation fee, and it's $175 a month. A great course, great people, and a professional that has instruction available. His name? Matt Campbell. Along with a good junior program, driving range and restaurant are available to the public. Come and try the good food with Amy Galloway and her staff, open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Great course, great people at the Lakeview Golf.
Top of the 5th, mid part of the order. Nick Lopez coming to the plate. Tristan Garland, Joey Mihelic due up in the inning too as we head to the 5th. Well, I guess technically we're not in the 5th yet, so we can squeeze in one more shout out. This one from Lexington, Kentucky. Go nuts from Dakota Talley. On the inside part of the plate, strike 1 to Lopez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ks in the contest for Trey McDaniel. Today has been a day of strikeouts. You had Brandon Morris from Mid-County, Texas, fan 10. You got McDaniel working on the possibility of a double-digit strikeout performance. Let's see, how much did you get out of Ryan Hinson, the winning pitcher in the Blue Lit game over Tucson? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1-2 pitch. Count evens up at 2 on Lopez. That's a toss that got away from McDaniel. Little check swing, flutters over towards first, charging, trying to get to it is Dylan Baugh, not able to do so. And the Lopez at-bat will continue. All right, your new assignment, by the way, when we get to the 6th, become a new follower on Twitter, and we will shout out your Twitter handle. Why? That's to show a little love, a little thank you, a little appreciation. Found out a play, and the count even at 2. It's shout out in reverse. Tristan Garland on deck. Lopez, the right-hander, steps back into the box and awaits the 2-2 offering. By the way, I took a look at Facebook. Swing and a miss, and out goes Lopez. K number 8 for McDaniel. And that is pitch number 70 for Trey McDaniel. You throw 76 tosses and you have got to sit out a couple of days. You got to rest. You throw 105, then you're not playing anymore in this game, no matter where you are at, with the exception of we have discovered, complete the at-bat. So if you throw pitch 105 and it's the opening pitch of a multi-pitch set, you can continue to throw during that at-bat. 1-1 toss outside, 2-1. Back to Facebook, by the way, I noticed that we are now 160 away from 10,000. So we picked up about 18 over the course of the last 30 minutes or so. It drops in low, and the count 3-1. We're trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the game. We have picked up our goal. We've decided to go for the gusto. Count runs full, 3-2. I would like to tell you we're going to give you a brand new car if you are like number 10,000. I would like to tell you that, but our budget won't afford it. Did he go? I think Blue said he did. It was dropped, and down to first goes the throw from Keene to make sure that Garland is not only a strikeout, he's out number 2. As a matter of fact, like number 9,000 came, I want to think it was back in March or April. And it was Coach Silva, head ball coach at Southern University, or Southern Union College. So it would have been May when she became like number 9,000. Joy Mihelich, a strikeout victim in the 3rd, batting here with 2 gone and nobody on in the 5th. Get a few more shout outs, so we'll do that as well. Shout out to Trey McDaniel from Uncle Mark. Great job. Mihelich awaits. Swings, misses, quickly, nothing in 2. Nine strikeouts for McDaniel, and we're just in the top of the 5th. Still got the 6th and 7th. If he stays into the game in the way he's pitching, I would say he stays. I wonder how aware these players are of the fact that we do have a board next to the scoreboard, which indeed gives the pitch count. Fouled off by Mihelich. You know, you take a look as he's walking back up onto the hill by McDaniel. He did not give a glance over to the scoreboard to look at that pitch count. And then he hits Mihelich. Another base runner on for Ephrata, and another base hitter hit by a McDaniel pitch. Just not enough time for Mihelich to get out of the way and get popped. Arsenio Martinez, who walked in the third, comes to the plate here in the fifth. One hops right into the mitt of Householder, and all Householder's got to do is get it over to short. And the 4-6 put out is out number 3. So a base runner gets on the hit by pitch. Mihelic taken out of the 4-6, wrapped into by Martinez. And the Columbia Basin River Dogs go quietly in the top of the 5th. We go to the bottom part of the inning. 8, 9, and 10 up for the Fighting Squirrels.
With today's fast-paced world can be difficult. Accelerate your life with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Surf, stream, and game like never before. Give us a call at 509-754-2600 and find out more at ifiber.tv.
Cheryl Konos Farmers Insurance is your local one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, and farm and ranch, Cheryl and Farmers are here for you. You never know when the unexpected will happen, so be ready for anything. She'll work for you to put together a package that fits your needs no matter how big or small. She's right here in Ephrata, so you can talk to her at any time. Please stop by for a free quote at 858 Basin Street Southwest or call 509-754-2550. Good luck to all the players and teams.
Keeping up with today's fast-paced world can be difficult. Accelerate your life with iFiber Communications high-speed internet. Surf, stream, and game like never before. Give us a call at 509-754-2600 and find out more at...
Bottom of the 5th, Jason Jarrell starting things off. Dylan Powell, Garrison Keene due up in the inning. A Facebook shout-out. This to Austin, Bobby, and Cole. Let's go, boys, from Bell City, Missouri. Well, I guess that will prompt me to take a look at Twitter and see if we've got shout-outs via Twitter. Gerald got aboard, stole a base in the second. Abel Gomez has given up a couple of base hits, or a couple of runs and 4 base hits. Of course, I'm looking at my numbers and I see 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. Just had to make sure they were right officially scorekeeping wise. Okay, they were right regardless. But you do indeed have 4 base hits. 2 runs have scored off Gomez. Two and one now on Gerald. Here's what we're going to do in the 6th, by the way, so get set. If you will follow us on Twitter in the 6th inning, we will read your Twitter handle. Give you a little Twitter love via the broadcast as the walk is issued to Gerald. Dylan Ball, who struck out in the 2nd, comes to the plate with the base runner on. Also, I haven't mentioned YouTube, but if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which I think is, last time I checked, about 35 shy of $1,000. On our YouTube channel, you get some World Series events from other providers of World Series. Plus, we do a lot of other youth sports. High school is on there as well. We'll be doing DeVar High School football. Typically, the stuff that is for 16, 17-year-olds and under is on our YouTube channel. We make an exception for Babe Ruth. So subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. 0-1 on Dylan Ball. Ball, a strikeout victim in the 2nd. He was the last out of the inning. Garrison Keene awaiting his opportunity next. And an unusual defensive play going on. It was all in preparation for the bunt, and the bunt is laid down. And despite the defensive efforts, you've got Gerald now in scoring position, and instead of the sacrifice, it turns into, let's see if they scored as a base hit. I'm thinking probably so. Don't see an E posting on the board. There's the bare hand, and yep, that's a base hit. So a couple of base runners on here in the bottom part of the fifth inning. Freda, the conversation with Abel Gomez. Gomez has certainly not pitched that bad of a contest. Well, now they have charged an error. So scratch the base hit and put an E1 on the board. Boy, that's a tough error. I really didn't see. Well, actually, that's not one, by the way. I think that is the first baseman, Nick Lopez, who would come over the field. So that's going to be an E3. Gibson had to stretch the frame to make the catch and make sure the ball didn't wind up in center field. That goes into center field, and you've got Gerald at third. Boy, got a lot of cat and mouse stuff going on. Garrison Keene, who hit into the 1-3 in the third, has Gerald at second, Ball the base runner at first. Top of the order is moved to the on-deck circle. Gomez with a look to base runners. Two and 0, 9:23 on a Saturday evening here in Ephrata, Washington. Bottom of the fifth, still got the sixth and seventh to go. Throw goes down to second, able to get back safely. Gerald, a strike delivered to Keene. And it is 2-1. Looks like another relatively fast-paced game, but I am not going to gloat because I know how the baseball gods like to balance things out. And tomorrow we could have 4 3-hour games. Bunted over towards first. That is a fair ball thrown to third. Nice defensive play by Garland. He will get the force out at third. And I'm not sure why Gerald's still at third. But apparently well, and I think the argument is there was a force. I don't know what the argument is. And there's the throw, and it is there. Several feet ahead of Gerald. Back to the top of the order we go. Wraps it a second, steps on the bag for one, not in time for two. Two gone with Ty Householder standing in. Sailed into foul territory over into the stands down the first base line. Ty Householder struck out in the first. He walked, scored a run in the third. 0 for 1 overall with a run scored. The guy that's been driving in the runs, Braden Cox, moving to the on-deck circle. As a matter of fact, the only runs that have come in for the Fighting Squirrels, and as a matter of fact, the only runs, period, compliments of Braden Cox. Gibson not able to get his foot on the bag. That will be an error charged. That brings in Gerald. So the error's got Householder on. And it has got Nichols at second. Couple of base runners aboard for Braden Cox. Let's see if he can do it again. He had RBI base hits in the first, had them in the third. The process has been a single with an RBI in the first, a double with an RBI in the third. I guess if you keep that trend, you get a triple with a couple of RBIs in the fifth, because if you deliver with a triple, not going to play just one. 3-zip advantage for Charleston as Cox bats. Wyatt Pratt to the on-deck circle. 1-1 pitch out of the strike zone. 2-1. Fighting Squirrels trying to put together their most productive inning of the contest. They played a run in the first, one in the third, one now in the fifth, and have a 2-0 count on Cox. Gomez able to catch the inside part of the strike zone. Well, again, where pool play is concerned, everybody plays 4 games, and 1 loss is not going to take you out of bracket play. 2 losses may not take you out. I think there have been situations where 3 didn't necessarily get you out. So you don't want to lose any game. It hurts, but it certainly doesn't knock you out of contention. Here's the 2-2 offering. Foul out of play. Top of the 6th, bottom of the order coming up for Ephrata. Gage Gibson, Abel Gomez, Joe Taylor. The 9, 10, and 1 hitters due up. 10 teams here. There are only 2 teams we have not had an opportunity to see yet. 4 games today, a chance to look at 8 of the 10 teams, as the count is even at 2 apiece. And now runs full. We have not seen the Middle Atlantic Regional Champions, the Mariners of Mount Olive, New Jersey. And the only other team that we have not seen is the team out of the Pacific Northwest. The prime time from Vancouver, Washington. Hit by the pitch, Cox. And the bases are now all loaded up for Wyatt Pratt. Well, Randy Boroff had gotten to the chalk line, coming out to talk to Gomez, and then turns around and goes back to the dugout. Abel Gomez has had success against Wyatt Pratt. Struck him out in the first, got him to ground into the 6-3 in the third. Well, the fact that Randy Boroff began the trip means that he probably is not going to pitch in the 6th. I guess time will tell. Pratt wrapping into the 3-1 putout. Bases left loaded, another run will play. And the Fighting Squirrel now with a 3-zip lead as we head to the 6th on Jock Jive.
Sure, Trustology is about sharing our financial expertise and helping our clients succeed. But it's also about helping local families enjoy a more festive holiday season. making sure parents have the supplies they need, and giving local charities everything they can grab in 90 seconds. It's employees who have a passion for serving their neighbors and the communities they live in. When you see Washington Trust's Crew in Blue doing their thing, that's WA Trustology in action. See more at WaTrustology.
Top of the sixth, near the bottom of the order, it's Gage Gibson, Abel Gomez, and the one-hitter Joe Taylor coming to the plate. There's a view of what it's like at third. One of our iFiber camera ops giving us a look at what they see. Do need to thank Sam Boroff. Sam responsible for the camera wells, the camera decks over the dugouts at first and third, and then center field. You know, some people work behind the scenes, never get the acknowledgement or recognition that they deserve, and what Sam did in center field is probably one of those instances, because it was very windy when we went out there on Thursday and then Friday, finding spots to get a good look from center field, and they were all wobbling and shaking in the wind. So Sam, well, it's amazing what he can do with a 2x4 and a drill. And we were able to get a solid look from center field. Swing and a miss, count even, 2 apiece on Gage Gibson. Time to get into new Twitter followers. Sixth inning dedicated to you, and here's what we're looking for. Just follow us at Jock Jive. Go to Twitter, put at Jock Jive in the search engine, and when you follow us, we're going to acknowledge your following us in the sixth. So if you haven't, do, and we'll say hello. Like this one to at Larry_Doby, D-O-B-Y 14. Thank you very much. At Larry_Doby 14. That's how you do it. Simple as that. Just follow us. One click of the mouse, or one tap of the finger on your iPhone or iPad. Gage Gibson gets on here in the sixth. Walk issued, and a pinch hitter for Abel Gomez. Jordan Rios stepping in. So there's your other indicator that Gomez will not be pitching in the bottom of the sixth. Into short bobble. That should have been 2, and it still is. Wow. Great recovery by Householder and by shortstop Welter. Just bobbled it, got it, and there's the quick throw to first. And got the out there. So Rios wrapping into the 6-4-3. Rounds 1 and 2. Well, an inning that Freda hoped would begin with promise, and did, with a walk of Gibson. Becomes a double play that takes care of a couple of base runners. Back to the top of the order we go. Joe Taylor steps in. Got a message from Larry Doby, who has followed us. And Larry, I know what you're talking about. James and I have these arguments all the time, by the way, about, well, I guess I better not say anything, or I might. But we'll talk about it later. Thanks, Larry. Three and one now on Joe Taylor. Taylor, a strikeout victim in the first, popped out to first in the fourth. Zach Berryman. He moves to the on-deck circle, and he will move from the circle to the box with a base runner on. The walk issued to Taylor. Taylor on for Zach Berryman. Berryman has walked and been hit by a pitch. Dakota Fingar moving to the on-deck circle. Again, follow us on Twitter in the sixth, and we send a little love and thank you your direction with a shout out in reverse via your Twitter handle. Out of the strike zone, 1-0. Trey McDaniel firing some Ks until you got to the 5th inning. He has now gotten into the 6th. I think, yep, there hasn't been an inning in which he has not struck somebody out. Here's the 1-0 offering. Berryman awaits. Fouled back in the count even at 1. 1 K in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, but none thus far in the 6th for McDaniel. Here is the 1-1 pitch, fouled out of play, 1-2. Of course, when you have a double play, that one at bat takes away a couple of opportunities to turn in a K. One-two pitch drops in low, and Taylor is off the second. He will get there safely with a stolen base. "97 pitches now for Trey McDaniel. Just missed and the count runs full. 105 the max. So Trey McDaniel's not going to get a complete game unless he gets a 1 pitch out. And the more you get fouled off by Berryman, the more that pitch count climbs. Now 6 away from wrapping up his stint on the hill. Dakota Fingar moving to the on-deck circle. Berryman awaits the payoff pitch from Trey McDaniel. Wrap towards second. Householder boots it, won't be able to make a throw, and there's base runners at first and third, and that practically guarantees that McDaniel will not get to the 7th. Dakota Fingar, who wrapped into the 1-6 and struck out, he's 0 for 2 in the contest. You got a little excitement in the Columbia Basin dugout, and that's because for the first time in the game, they got somebody at third. Closest to home, 180 feet away. And that's happened twice in the game. This is the first time somebody's been at third. Big cut, no contact from Fingar. Here's the 0-1. Nothing in 2. Well, if you were the coach for Charleston, and if McDaniel wraps up the 6th with a pitch or two, do you bring him out for the 7th? I would say no. Swing and a miss, and it looks like he will finish his tenure on the bump with a K. 103 pitches. Doubtful that we see McDaniel in the 7th. Scoreless top part of the 6th. We go to the bottom part of the inning. Speaking of McDaniel, he will lead things off at the plate when we return.
Come along now, join the fun in beautiful Grant County, Washington. Our lakes just can't be beat, our friends you'll love to meet in beautiful Grant County, Washington.
Call 800-992-6234 or tourgrantcounty.com. Brought to you by the Grant County Tourism Commission.
Right here in the Columbia Basin, located in Moses Lake, we've got a locally owned, operated car rental agency. With a great selection of late model clean cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs, they do direct billing to insurance companies when that unexpected accident happens and your car is laid up for that little moment. They're open 6 days a week with a new building and new location. 15 years of service to the Columbia Basin. Advanced Rent-A-Car. Call them today, 765-39.
And there you see Joe Taylor getting some warm-up tosses. The former shortstop turned pitcher. Abel Gomez will leave after working a total of 5 innings. And let's get you some Gomez numbers. He will face 24 in his 5 innings of work. Strikeouts of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Ks. I see 1 walk, I see a couple of walks, and then of course a total of 4 hits and 3 runs given up. So Abel Gomez has had a pretty nice day of work on the hill as well, and will come to an end for Ephrata. Things jovial in the dugout for the Fighting Squirrel. You can have a more jovial attitude when you got the lead and they've got the 3-0 advantage. Driven towards center field, but right at center fielder Dakota Fingar. So Trey McDaniel with a fly out for out number 1. It brings Palmer Campbell to the plate. Miss at 30. New follower on Twitter. Reminder, in the 6th inning, you follow us and we recognize it. Miss at 30. Now following us, Jordan _ BBS. Following us, thank you very much, Jordan _ BBS. Still got a couple of outs to work with in the 6th to get those new followers on, so follow us on Twitter. Palmer Campbell, a single, a strikeout, 1 for 2. Fouled off, 0-2. So the Gomez numbers: 5 innings, 24 faced, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, 4 hits, and 3 runs given up. Here is the 0-2 to Campbell. High and inside, ball 1. Love the dugout cams, gives you a look inside the dugout, and well, sometimes these guys get really creative. We did the World Series for Division II NJCAA baseball in Enid, Oklahoma, and Phoenix Community College. Really creative in the stuff that they did exclusively for cameras. Nubbed over towards third. Berriman will scoop up, go to first, and get Campbell on the 5-3. I'm thinking where Phoenix Community College was concerned, they went home and practiced some of the routines they did in front of cameras. Gage Gibson, by the way, has moved to short. And as soon as the gentleman now at second turns his back to us, we'll let you know who is playing that spot. High and inside with a pitch. Well, he almost did. Almost turned to an angle where I could see the numbers on the back of the guy at second. I think that pitch count's wrong, by the way. We are tied into the scoreboard here in the official scorekeeper. I don't think it was a 3-3 count. One ball, couple of strikes. I was doing a baseball game in Birmingham, and when I looked at the pitch count and it was 9-5, I knew that the scoreboard was not going to be very reliable. I didn't even know they went 9-5, but I guess if you keep pumping them, they'll keep growing the totals. Count even to apiece. Winston Welter, a couple of strikeouts, struck out in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Slices this one foul. Bottom of the 6th, a 3-run lead. Charleston, Missouri trying to tack on enough insurance to win it in the top of the 7th. Welcher will go down, a strikeout victim. And Joe Taylor comes in, moves from short to the pitcher's mound, and does some damage from the standpoint of keeps Charleston from tacking on anymore. 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 6th. We go to the 7th. Fighting Squirrels up by 3.
On the Train test range, you learn what makes our heating and cooling systems so reliable. If there's a breaking point, we'll find it. It's hard to stop a train. Really hard. Train, the most reliable for a reason.
Just about all White Jones County. Diving catch it, shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. We enter the top of the 7th. Duncan Favor starting things off. Nick Lopez, Tristan Garland, a 3-zip Fighting Squirrels lead. Well, Larry, we can talk about it now. Larry had sent me a Twitter message saying, don't jinx it. I knew what he was referencing, and that was the fact that Trey McDaniel had worked into the 6th without giving up a single hit. I wonder if you are credited with a no-hit. I mean, it's a no-hitter. You're credited with it, but is it what we would call an official no-no if the pitch count takes you out of the game? So Trey McDaniel pitching a no-hitter through 6. He faced 23, struck out 11, walked 4, hit 2, but did not give up a hit. And right under the R, and especially that number under the H, tells you a pretty dynamite pitching performance from Trey McDaniel. But if Freda can put the runs together in the 7th, and they're certainly capable, it's all for naught. Facing Austin Hicks. Delivers into the strike zone to even the count at 1. Two and 1 on Duncan Favor. Favor strikes out in the 2nd. He pops out to short in the 4th. 0 for 2 in the game. Nick Lopez, Tristan Garland due up in the inning 2. The only River Dogs of the starting 10 who have not struck out: Berryman, Martinez, and Gibson. Favor gets aboard to begin the 7th. Well, as I mentioned, don't count these River Dogs out. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to reflect back on years gone by, and it seems like they have had a flair for the late rally. And they've got a base runner on here in the 7th for Nick Lopez. Well, we officially take Twitter followers in the 6th, but we got one more we want to toss into the total. At Gally Salazar. Thank you very much. At Gally Salazar. I wonder how many followers we've got now. A little better than 800. Heck, we might as well get 1,000 as far as followers on Twitter over the week as well. So 10,000, maybe more on Facebook, 1,000, maybe more on Twitter, and 1,000, and heck, maybe more on YouTube. Pitch comes in low, 3-1. Already one base runner on that is favored. Lopez getting on. Would bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Tristan Garland. Into the strike zone, and the count will run full. Three balls, couple of strikes with his lead over at first favor. He's probably not going to run until now. Base hit. Delivered into center field, and Lopez moves favor to second. So the no-hitter, combined pitching between McDaniel and Hicks, broken up here in the top of the seventh. Tristan Garland, who has struck out twice, heads to the plate here in the top of the seventh. So the River Dogs trying to rally late. Garland fanned in the second, last out of the inning, fanned in the fifth, the middle out. Favor diving back into the bag at second. Into the strike zone, 0-1 on Garland. Joey Mihelich moving to the on-deck circle. Couple of base runners on, tying run at the plate. Go-ahead run is on deck. Fourth game of a four-game Saturday. We start it all over again tomorrow at 11. Into the dirt, goes back to the backstop, and runners move up one. And now both base runners aboard in scoring position. And that will get Austin Hicks a visit. Teammates up onto the bump to offer some words of encouragement. Well, it's difficult enough. You come into a contest in the seventh. It's your first appearance in the World Series. So you get that. You know, everybody else has had 6 innings to settle down. But not Hicks. Hicks has got to go out there right now. This is like his first inning. And then you've got to follow a great performance from Trey McDaniel. Struck out 11. He wound up walking 4 and gave up no hits during his 6 innings of work. So not only are you going out there and you're going to try to work out the butterflies in the 7th when everybody else is in their comfort zone, but it's weighing on your mind. You know, don't give up what McDaniel's already put together. Count even 1 each. And a strike delivered. Well, that's all it took, just a little pick-me-up session. One ball, couple of strikes. Garland awaits, and he is fanned. Well, sometimes that's all it takes, just knowing that your teammates got your back. And Hicks responds with a strikeout of Garland for out number 1. And 2, you got Coach coming out going, listen, you know, we know you can do it. You're out here because you can do it. It's why you're on the mound. So just relax, throw strikes, get outs. And Hicks complied during the Garland at-bat for out number 1. Freda trying to get runners in. First step along the way to getting back in test for Freda is get somebody in, get rid of the goose egg. Here in the 7th, couple of pitches outside of the strike zone to Joey Mihelich. 2-0 pitch, out of the zone again. Mihelich, I am not a betting man, but certainly willing to bet, is not swinging on a 3-0, no matter where it's at. And it comes in low, he is walked. That puts the tying run on, and the go-ahead run coming to the plate in the form of Arsenio Martinez. It is amazing what will bring life. Well, maybe it's not so amazing. But the difference in attitude when things are looking up. And they are looking up, but not there yet. Still down by 3, got the bases loaded. Double play would end the game, so not over as it's fouled out of play, and quickly in an 0-2 hole is Martinez, and Martinez is the pivotal at bat. If Martinez gets on, then there's definitely some life in the River Dogs. If he goes down, well, it doesn't end the game, but it certainly becomes more dismal for Ephrata. 0-2 pitch. Wrapped over towards second. Householder will field fire, concede the run, get the out. In comes Faber. And Martinez on the 4-3 gets the RBI for out 2. Right now, if you're a Charleston, Missouri Fighting Squirrel, you can afford to give up a run for an out. Ephrata cannot. 2 gone for Gage Gibson. Base hit likely ties the game, depending upon where that base hit goes, where it travels, but you know runners will be off with a crack of the bat. 0-1 pitch, nothing in 2. Fighting Squirrel do not want a bottom part of the inning. They want to wrap it up here in the top part of the 7th. And they will. Gage Gibson strikes out, ball game over. And it is victory that belongs to Charleston, Missouri. The Fighting Squirrels able to come through with a couple of base runners on, including the tying run in the top of the 7th. Well, it wraps up a 4-1 hit total final and a 3-1 run scoring total final, as the Fighting Squirrel have got their opening game in pool play, and Ephrata falls at the hands of the Fighting Squirrel by 2. Tomorrow we start baseball at 11 o'clock. Southwest taking on the Pacific Northwest champs. New England and Middle Atlantic at 2. Pacific Southwest and the Washington North State champs at 5. Ephrata's back on the diamond at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, taking on Southeast. Thanks so much for being on the other end of our coverage. Thanks to the I-5